Hey, welcome to the Sales Hunter podcast. My name's Mark Hunter, and I'm talking about the best sales advice from top performing salespeople. Hey, who doesn't want to be a top performer? What's the best sales advice out there? Well, I've curated it all, and I'm going to share it with you on this episode of the Sales Hunter podcast.
You're listening to the Sales Hunter podcast with Mark Hunter, where the focus is to help you as a sales leader sell with confidence and integrity. And now here's your host.
I'm talking today about the best sales advice. Now, let's break this down for a second. A key belief I have is you got to have the right mindset to succeed in sales. Okay, totally get that. The challenge is our mindset is made up of a wide number of things, chief of which is really how we do our job. So that's why I want to share with you this list. This is the best sales advice. And I'm going to go through with these one at a time for you. And I want you to take notes. I want you to share with me your thoughts. If you're catching this live, chime in right now. Throw your comments out there. We'll get them up on the screen. If you're listening to this on the podcast, be looking for the download, the PDF document that I'll be providing to give you all the notes and the commentary and everything. But anyway, hey, let's get into it right now. It really, number one, it's follow up, follow up, follow up. Top performers know that the sale is made not in that initial sale, but it is made in the follow up. They stay true to that all the way through. They do not give up. And that's one of the single biggest differences in terms of if you want best sales advice, follow up, follow up, follow up. Number two, be clear on the outcome you create. See, top performers, the best sales advice is really about staying absolute locked in on the outcome you create. It's not the product. Average salespeople get hung up on the product they sell. Well, if we need this, we need to do this, we need to do that. No. Top performers, it's the outcome. I want you to think about the outcome you create. It's the benefit the customer receives. Best way to do this is by taking a piece of paper, your 10 best customers, and write down what's the outcome that they received. Know what that is, and that's what you focus in on. Number three, best advice, know your customer's customer. It's not just good enough to know your customer, but you got to know your customer's customer. When you know your customer's customer, it's amazing at how much more valuable you become to your customer. The ultimate mark of success, and I remember a top performer sharing me this, and I experience it too. It's when the customer asks you a question about something you don't even know anything about, but they do it because they've seen you bring to them so much brilliance, so much insight. And one of the ways you do that is by sharing with them insights regarding their own customers. Because if you can understand their customers, then you're going to know what they have to be doing to be able to continue to win their sales. Number four, it's all about the questions you ask. You see, again, best sales advice, spend more time developing questions to ask. You see, it's not what you share with the customer. It's what the customer shares with you. That's what's absolutely key. It's the information the customer shares with you. Put it in reverse. And along with that, that means that you have to be comfortable with silence. And again, you want some best sales advice? Know how to be silent. Know how to be silent, because when you're silent, it's amazing at what happens. The customer will wind up sharing with you more information. Number five, it's relationships and peer groups. Now, this is absolutely key. You see, it's who do you associate with? This is one of the reasons why I've got the Sales Logic Mastermind. If you're not familiar with that, jump out to saleslogicpodcast.com. It's in the podcast I do with Meredith Elliott Powell. And we have the Mastermind group. And what is it about? It's about being part of a community where you're associating with other top performers. You see, here's the whole thing. My relationships drive me. My peer groups drive me because I challenge them. They challenge me. And, we really do become the sum of the five people we associate with the most. Jim Rohn said that line 30, 40 years ago, but it's absolutely true. Top performers are careful at who they hang out with. They're careful with who they associate with because they know other behavior rubs off on them. And they are absolutely key. They also know that relationships open doors for them. It's proximity is power. Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. Proximity is power. It's you want to put yourself in a position to where you're close to power. Number 6 here is time management, discipline. Best sales advice, time management. I can't recommend enough the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. I highly recommend you read that because in that book, he talks about the discipline of the little things. And I'll talk more about this because this is another one of those best practices. But it's time management and discipline. In other words, I use my day wisely. Now, that doesn't mean I'm booking myself solid. Top performers I speak to keep white space on their calendar because they know that they need time for themselves to think. They schedule meetings with themselves. I've talked about this on other podcasts. But they understand that it's discipline to remain absolutely focused, which takes me to number 7, goal focused. Top performers are absolutely locked in. You want some best sales advice? What are your goals? And here's the whole deal. The goals are not what your boss or your company has set for you. I want you to go past those goals. Your job is to go past those goals. That's where average people stop. They just strive to get to whatever their number is for the quarter, for the year. Top performers go past that. And when you're goal focused, it also means that you're reviewing your goals every day. Every day you start off by looking at your goals and you ask yourself, is what I'm going to work on today, is it going to help me achieve my goal? And if it's not, I got to really challenge, why am I doing that? At the end of the day, take a look back and say, how did I spend my day? See, this all goes back to time management discipline. Time management discipline, it is a tool that you do to do the activities to help you achieve your goal. Number 8, best sales advice, never stop learning. Sales in and of itself really hasn't changed much in 2,000 years, but the mediums, the strategies, the methodologies have changed. And also the customers, the verticals, the industries, the go-to-market strategies change. And you have to ask yourself, am I continuing to learn? I find so many veteran salespeople. This morning, I was on the phone with a VP of sales, and he was sharing with me, well, I got a lot of people who've been around 20 years, and they just think they know it all, and they don't want to be told anything. Yeah, because oh no, don't tell me anything. Top performers, regardless of how many years they've been in the business, are continuously learning. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? Ask yourself each day, what have I learned? Number 9, maximize opportunities with existing customers. So many times what I see happening, and I see this all the time, is that salespeople struggle to land this new customer. Then they land this new customer, and then they quickly move on and they try to struggle to land the next one. And you want some best sales advice? Maximize the opportunities that you have. Every salesperson I know, I says, give me more leads. And I say, look at your existing customer base. There's a lot of leads right there. There's a lot of leads, a lot of opportunities right there with your existing customers. You might as well jump on them and use them and benefit from them. Yes. You see, here's the whole situation. If I'm not maximizing existing customers, what I'm doing is I'm treating existing customers as if they're bowling pins, and my job is just to knock them down, take their money, and run. What you want to be doing is you want to be sitting here saying, hey, I don't want to close a sale, but I want to open a relationship. Because I always take this maximizing the opportunities with existing customers as a way to say, how do I get more business from that customer? Are there other people that they can connect me to, et cetera, which takes us to the next one in terms of referrals. Number 10, give referrals and get referrals. Now, not only do top performers know that you can give and get referrals from your own customers, but there's plenty of other people too. Ask yourself this question. What is the percent of your business that comes from referrals? Think about that for a moment. What's the percent of your business that comes from referrals? And the question then I have to ask yourself is, are you giving referrals? If you're not giving referrals, you got a serious question. You got a serious problem on your hand. What it comes down to is this. If I want to get referrals, I got to give referrals. You want a best piece of sales advice? Give more referrals. Number 11, your attitude matters. And I'll tell you what, that means having an optimistic attitude. You're always seeing the upside in everything. I go in on sales calls with top performers, and sales call may not go anywhere where we want it to. We could be on a Teams call, Zoom call, whatever. But they come out of it saying, wait a minute, here's what I'm going to do next. They always have an optimistic attitude. And they always have this attitude that I'm going to find a way to help them. I'm going to find a way to help them. And they do not get caught up in pessimism. We're recording this right here at the start of 2024. And it's amazing how last year everybody thought we were going to have this R, that R, that economic word that starts with the letter R. I can't say it because I don't believe it because I'm an optimist. And you know what's interesting? We came through last year. We didn't have it. We didn't have it. See, it's amazing how so many people get caught up in the short game, which is actually the next one, number 12. Play the long game. Play the long game. Short-term problems are just that, short-term. You know what's interesting? The valleys are never as deep as you think they are, and the mountaintops are never as high as you think they are. And just about the time you think there's no upside, it's amazing. I find this all the time in my business. Well, this isn't working out. Then I'll say, whoa, play the long game. Play the long game. This goes back to what I was talking earlier about in terms of goals, in terms of discipline, in terms of time management, and so forth. You have to keep doing the work. The results you achieve are a result of the activity you do. And it's the day in and day out. Play the long game. Number 13, serve others. I want you to be seen as someone who goes past what's expected. I want you to be seen as someone who doesn't just do what's expected, but you go past that. You see, when you have the servant mindset, it's amazing how you're playing a long game. It's amazing how you have a much different attitude. It's amazing how much you're an optimist. And you're doing this because you're helping people. Zig Ziglar used to make the comment, he says, the best way to achieve your goals is to help others achieve their goals. And the servant player understands that. Number 14, own the prospecting process. It's great to have marketing giving you leads. It's great to have that. But here's the whole thing. You want some best sales advice? Don't rely on others to bring you your leads. Because I'll tell you what, the leads you create yourself are going to be your best leads. Go after your own leads. I can't stress this one enough. Because here's why I say this. When we go after our own leads, it's amazing at how much more focused we are in terms of understanding our sales process. It's amazing how much more focused we are in terms of not taking things for granted, because it can be work to get a good qualified lead. It can be work. It can be work. But when you own your prospecting process, you own the outcome. You own the result. And when you own it, it's amazing at how much more credible you are as a salesperson. Number 15, speed. Speed. You want a best sales practice? It's all about speed. Don't get bogged down in trying to make it perfect. I see so many salespeople. What happens is they absolutely don't do something. Oh, I can't get this out yet. I got to make this absolutely perfect. Just go. The other day, I had an opportunity and I had a thing I was working on. We weren't quite done. And I said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and send it to you. It's in rough draft form, but I'm sending it to you. And I did. And the person emailed me back, said, that was absolutely fantastic. Thank you. That's just what I was looking for. Let's arrange next meeting. Now, what's interesting is I could have said, well, in a couple of weeks, we'll have this perfectly worked out and everything. No, go. Speed sells. Because here's the whole thing. Customers aren't waiting. Customers aren't waiting around. Customers don't necessarily know what's perfect. The example I use is you can be doing a show. You can be putting on a play. You can be putting on something. And there may be some lines over the course of the show, the play, that don't get delivered quite right, or something doesn't quite happen right on cue. The audience doesn't know. The audience at the end jumps to their feet, gives you a standing ovation. They didn't know all the little things that didn't happen. Only you did. Speed sells. Number 16, it's all about your CRM. Best practice, best sales advice, embrace your CRM. Question I love asking salespeople is your CRM open right now on your phone or on your laptop, whatever? Is it open? And when I hear salespeople say, no, I don't tend to get into my CRM until the end of the week, then I kind of go in and update everything. I go, whoa, that's not a best practice. Not at all. Not at all. Want best sales advice? Embrace your CRM. And don't say, oh, we don't have a good CRM system. Hold it. Even the lousiest CRM system is better than no CRM system. Don't think for a moment you're going to be able to remember everything. You can't. You can't. Not even close. Number 17, keep your pipeline manageable. Don't start what you can't finish. This is some absolutely fantastic best sales advice, because I see people, what happens is their business gets slow, so they throw out hundreds and hundreds of prospecting emails. They just throw all this stuff out, and they may get a few people nibbling, but hold it. Unless I have the ability to follow up. And how am I going to follow up with hundreds of emails, hundreds of prospects, hundreds of leads? I can't. Keep your pipeline manageable. And you want to keep your pipeline where it's not a sewer pipe. You want to keep it where it looks more like a water tap, where stuff just moves through rapidly, moves through fast. When you do that, it's amazing, again, at how much more successful you'll be, because you'll be able to have more time to spend with fewer prospects. Oh, think about that for a moment. You'll have more time to spend with fewer prospects. Yeah. Number 18, never allow price to become what you're known for. You want some best sales advice? Here it is. Never allow price to become what you're known for. Because when you become known for price, you're replaceable. You're replaceable in two ways. One, because that's the only reason people are buying you, is because they're buying off a price. So why do I need a salesperson? We can just automate that whole transaction. And two, that transaction will only occur until somebody else comes along and makes it a little bit cheaper. And they will. Price is not a sustainable competitive advantage, period. You cannot be known for price. Best sales advice. Price is not a sales strategy. Price is not a marketing strategy. And don't sit there and tell me otherwise. Oh, look at all these companies that give their stuff away. Yeah, well, you know what? They're not really in it for the sales game. They're in it because what they're trying to do is create this smoke and mirror so they get investors to give them a lot of money. That's a whole separate issue. That's not the business you're in. No. Number 19, have metrics you use to measure your performance. Best sales practice, best sales advice. What are the metrics? What are the number of calls, number of conversations that you have to have each day? What are the number of steps that you have to go through to close this? See, what's interesting is we all want to put results up on the table. We all want to close deals. We want to make our number and so forth. But the number we achieve is only a result of the activities we do. And I better be prepared to understand what those activities are. And how do I know if I'm doing the right activities? It's the metrics. And am I recording? This is why I love CRM, because I want to be able to see in my CRM, how many calls did I make? How many contacts? What's my process? What's my step for staying on top of them? Yeah. And number 20, crave a process. You've got to crave a process and a routine, and you do not deviate from it. If you deviate from it, it's amazing how quickly you lose sight of things. Earlier this week, I was with top performing salesperson for a company. In fact, she was recognized top performer. And she made the comment, she said, early in her career, a shiny object would come along and she'd start, going after it. And shining object would be maybe it was a smaller opportunity, but it'd be a kind of a fun account to call on, fun this or fun that, or well, we're not really in that vertical, but we need to get into it. And she said that actually distracted me. Now she says, as a top performer, no, I never do. I pass that off to somebody else. I'm not going to spend my time on it. You see, she craves a routine. She craves a process. What's interesting is this lends itself to, am I busy or productive? You see, in this example, and I always say it, everybody's busy, but are they productive? In this example, years ago, she was busy chasing shiny objects, but she wasn't productive. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to say, hey, am I dialed in on the previous 19 things I've been talking about? Am I truly dialed in on them? And if I'm dialed in on them, then it's amazing how I have a routine. Top performers I talk to are always quick to tell me how they lead really a very boring life. They really do. Because they literally are doing the same thing every day, same thing every week. Because they have a process. They have a sales process that they go through. And they stick with it. Now, what I've done is I've shared 20 best pieces of sales advice. And I've curated them from top performers and from other things. Now, I did this podcast for a very simple reason, because I want you to achieve that top level. If you're listening to the podcast, I want you to check the links out, because I want to help you with more content. If you're serious about getting serious, I want you to email me. I want you to reach out to me. I want you to go to thesaleshunter.com. I want to become engaged with you. Why? For one very simple reason. Because you have to have that community. And if you're not part of that community, it's not there. And the easiest community is actually what I refer to as my Sales Logic Mastermind. And go to Sales Logic Podcast. It's a different podcast I do. But check out Sales Logic Podcast and scroll down. You'll see the Mastermind group. And I want you to become part of that. Here's the situation. Every salesperson out there has at least a 40 or 50% upside. They do. And don't sit there and say, Mark, you don't understand my company. Then maybe you need to change companies. Maybe you need to change jobs. But every one of you easily could be achieving 40, 50% more easily if you had your act together. My name is Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. What is the Sales Hunter podcast all about? It's about giving you 2 episodes a week. One, a longer form one like this. Now, I normally have a guest, but I wanted to share this with you. It's a longer form podcast where we kind of do a deeper dive into a subject. The other episode each week is a short single topic one. Yeah, you could say this one was single topic, but I had 20 pieces in there. Yeah. What is it about? It's about helping you see and achieve what you didn't think was possible. I want you to see and achieve what you didn't think was possible. And that's becoming an absolute superstar in the sales profession. Why? Because when I can help you achieve that, you will be able to help others achieve that same success. Others, that being your customers. Because every day we get to influence and impact people. And hopefully today I've had a chance to do just that. My name's Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. I want you to leave me a review, leave me a comment, pop me a note. And would you subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app? And hey, leave me a review on your podcast app, would you? Please. Hey, sales is not a solo activity. Sales is a team sport. And I love being able to share with you right here, right now. I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. Great selling.